Ago the Voch Rabbi Sai. Lulu Nishmasi Mimurasi Ruspas Mordechai. Boy Minei Rabbi Yirmim Rabbi Zer Daf Mem Zayin Amud Beis. Kivse Atzeres Shchotam Lishmon Vovet Alechem. What happened is, we're talking about Shavuos. This guy right over here, the beautiful Shavuos sheep, and the bread. They shechted the sheep. And we said that when you shecht the sheep, there's a zika. There's the bond, the handcuffs, azikim, between the sheep and the bread. So listen to this. This is beautiful. Let's think about it for a second. The sheep were shechted. There's a bond to the bread, and the bread got lost. Now what? If you do regular zrika, you do zrika on these sheep, what happens? You would have to throw them out. You have to burn them. There's a way to save them. The way to save them is to do something that's asur. That is to think that these sheep are not for Shavuos, they're for a regular shlamim. You do a shalai l'shma, you switch the l'shma in your head, and now you make it shlamim. Shlamim is okay. You cannot do zrika as if they're for Shavuos because there's no bread, and there's a zika to the bread. When we learn that there's no bread, what happens? No, you don't have it. Instead of, what are you doing over there? What are you doing on your phone? Let me see. Exactly.
What's the Shabbos? I gotta be upstairs.
But you hear what's going on? There's a Murray the Geshaila, and this is going to get a lot of. Could I do a little bit of an aver? What's my aver? To do shaloi l'shma is issa deraisa, in order to save these sheep. Can I do it shaloi l'shma? Omar lei. So he says, something doesn't make sense here. If I do it like I'm supposed to do it, it's not going to be good. If I do it like I'm not supposed to do it, then all of a sudden it becomes good. Where do we find such a thing? Says Gemara V'loi. And we had this Gemara one time. Mamish, I don't know when, but recently. In other words, I remember it from Zvachim, or it should say on the side. Where? In Zvachim, okay. Yeah, that's 2 months ago. Varei Pesach, that Korban Pesach, sorry. I'm the wrong one. Varei Pesach, Koydem Chatzos. If you shech the Korban Pesach before Chatzos, you're only allowed to shech the Korban Pesach after Chatzos. What if you do it before Chatzos? Then a kosher l'shmoi, v'kosher shaloi l'shmoi. If you try to shech it as a Korban Pesach before the right time, it's no good. But if you shecht it as a shlamim, then it's okay. Korban Pesach. If you try to shecht it before the time that you're allowed to shecht it, it's possible as a Pesach. And you brought it, you designated it as a Pesach. But if you switch the designation, you say it's a shlamim, it's okay. So you find that idea. No, but is there something that was good if you did it for the right purpose? But it was pushed off. Korban Pesach wasn't pushed off. This is pushed off. Well, you shechted as a tzeres, as a shvuos carbon, and it was pushed off for that because you can't do it anymore. You don't have the bread. And if you continue doing what you're supposed to do, it's bad. But if you do something wrong, it'll be good that we don't find. Says what do you mean? You have a Korban Pesach. You didn't bring it on Erev Pesach. So now what happened? It became dochui, became pushed off. And I want to switch it. I want to switch it after Pesach on Chanukah. I want to make it into in shlamim, and that's okay. Says no, this is what I really meant. There's a lot of words here, but we're getting to something very simple. Is there something that used to be okay? And you shechted it for the right purpose. Our situation. It was good as a Korban Shavuos. And you shechted it as a Korban Shavuos. And then it got pushed off. Why did it get pushed off? Because the bread got lost. In other words, we have shchita. We just added that there was a shchita here. And the shchita was done properly. And after the shchita was pushed off. That we don't find anywhere. And if you do it the right way, it's no good. If you do it the wrong way, it is good. That makes no sense anymore. We do have a very similar case by Korban Taida. that one of the breads, after the shechita, one of the breads got broken or whatever. That's the sugi we had a few days ago. And the halacha is that you have to switch the carbon toida to shlamim. So it was shechted properly. It got pushed off after the shechita. Something bad happened. Now we tell you to do something bad in order to save it. Says Gemara, don't bring me a right from toida, shani toida, the rachmana kari shlamim. It says before in the pasuk, al chalis lechem chametz yaakov karbonai al zevach toidas shlamav. The toida is a shlamim. Great. Torah Rabbanon. New sugya. Shochat shnei kvasim al arba chalos. On Shavuos he's supposed to bring? No answer. No. Says the Gemara, you shechted the two. What do you do on Shavuos? You need 2 sheep, 2 breads. Instead of 2 sheep, he brought 4 breads. Shochat shnei kvasim al arba chalos. Moishech shtayim mem umenifon. What do you do? So now we have a problem. The 4 breads, 2 have gdushas haguf, 2 have gdushas damim. What do you do now? So you pull 2 umenifon. So this, Rabbi, I just pay attention because this is tricky. How many tnufas do you do on a shvuos, on the shvuos breads? 1 before the shechita, 1 after the shechita. Now we're referring to the 1 after shechita because it said he already did shechita. He shechted the 2 sheep, and he has extra breads. Moishech shtayim, you pull 2 out, and you do tnufa, the second tnufa that you're supposed to do. And then for the rest, you do a pidyon. Here's the pidyon. We know what that is. Basically, just in case there's Gdusha on that bread, only Gdusha's damim, so you redeem it, you move the Gdusha away from the bread onto money. So now what do you remain with? 2, you had 2 that had Gdusha's aguf, 2 that had Gdusha's damim. The 2 that had Gdusha's damim, you get rid of, you put the Gdusha onto money. The 2 that had Gdusha's aguf is what we eat. Amror Rabbanan Kamed Rav Chizda Hadalei Rebbe. L'chayra, we had the machlokes the other day, the Rebbe and Rebbe Lazar. This doesn't go like Rebbe. Why? The Rebbe, what creates the Kedusha here on the bread? The Shechita, the Parak Luhecha. Where in the world are you going to remove the Kedusha from these breads? Eat the Parak Luhu Me'abra. You're going to do it outside. You can't do it outside of the Beis HaMikdash. Kivin D'chsil L'fnei Hashem. It has to be in front of the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Yivaz Lebi Yotzeh. Since there's a Kedusha on these breads, you gave it a serious Kedusha. Once it goes out, it becomes possible. If it was only Kedusha's damim, it's not a problem to take it out and in, and that's what we said already. The big problem is if it's Kedusha's gof. If it's inside the Beis HaMikdash, we have a different problem. Very, very cool problem. Hama'el chul azara. You're not allowed to bring mundane things into the azara. These breads had Kedusha on them, but when you remove the Kedusha from it, they become regular simple breads. And now all of a sudden you find yourself in a situation where simple breads are in the azara. So the Gemara says a lamdisha thing here. You did do the pidyon inside the Beis HaMikdash. You didn't bring chulin to the Azara. You did a pidyon. All of a sudden, you find yourself in a situation that the breads are in the Azara. There's a little bit of a problem though, because somebody has to eat these breads, and now you're eating chulin b'Azara. Okay. But we have a problem. The Rav Ashi says that you cannot bring chul. There's a problem of chul ba'azara, and in fact, you do the whole pidyon outside of the Beis HaMikdash because you did inside the Beis HaMikdash. You created a chulin in the azara. Says Gemara, if so, Havadei Rebbe Elazar Rebbe Shimoni, that the kedusha. What does Rebbe Elazar Rebbe Shimoni say? When do the breads get kedusha? Only after you do all 4 avodas. The shechita, kabbalah, hoylach, and zrika. Not like Rebbe that says it's in the beginning by the shechita. The Rebbe, you can't be Rebbe because there's a big problem of Yotzei. Let me tell you the Rabbi Yochanan miha. Maybe there's a problem with the Rabbi Yochanan. We're going to get into Rabbi Yochanan from this. Here we go. The same exact case that we just said. We spoke about a carbon shvuos that comes with 2 breads, and instead of 2, you brought 4. Same exact case. A carbon taida, which you're supposed to bring 40 breads, he doubled it up to 80. Chizki says automatically 40 become Kaddish. I don't know which 40, but 40 become Kaddish. Nothing becomes Kaddish. So we have a problem with Rabbi Yochanan, because according to our sugya, you take 2 out, and then 2 remain Kaddish. So that's what you should do with the Taida. 40 should remain Kaddish, take 40 out, and Shalom Yisrael. Rabbi Yochanan says no, nothing becomes Kaddish. That's the problem. Says Gemara, no, it's not a problem. We explained over there. It's because he said mefurish, I want 40 out of the 80 to become kaddish, so 40 out of the 80 become kaddish. So in our case also, the Amar likatchu tartim toicharba. If you don't say anything, nothing's going to happen. Nothing becomes kaddish. We're talking about a situation that he had 4 breads in front of him. He said, I want 2 to become kaddish out of the 4. So it's interesting that Reb Chanina Tirasa has a bunch of funny names. He has Tirna, Turiasa, Titara. The kids are like 5 different names. Yerushalmi, Bavli. Shachad Arba Kvasim is the same story, but in reverse. Instead of bringing 2 sheep, he brought 4 sheep. What? Yeah. But the Turniyasa, I guess in Hebrew it's called one thing, it's like in English another, like if you talk in Aramaic, it's one way. Instead of bringing 2 sheep, he brought 4 sheep. Now it's a little bit of more of a problem, I would say, because sheep have Kedushas HaGuf. You start off with Kedushas HaGuf, whereas with the bread, you're only starting off with Kedushas Damim. Okay. The breads you had the right amount, 2, but the sheep you doubled up. What do? You take 2 out, and you do Zrikas Adam with not Lishma, and then afterwards you do Lishma on the 2 that you didn't take out. You have 4 sheep, 2 put aside, and get rid of them, do Zrika Shloi Lishma, say that they're Shlamim, and the 2 that remain, they'll be our Kifsei Atzeres, they'll be the Shlamim for Shavuos, and over there you do Zrika Lishma. If you don't say that, then they'll all get lost. So this is a beautiful, this musig of sinning in order to benefit. Like what's in Abayir right now? What does he want us to do? You have 2 types of limbs in a basket. You have the oila that's supposed to go on the mizbeach, and you have the chatos that you're supposed to eat. And now you have a dilemma. What do? You put the chatos on top of the mizbeach. You don't eat it, even though you're supposed to. It's an avera to put it up there. So how do you get out of this avera? If it's edible, you're supposed to eat it. You don't put it on the mizbeach. He eats it. We pretend you say, oh, I need to put some firewood over there. This meat is firewood. Otherwise, that's the only way out of it. What are you going to do? Otherwise, everything gets burnt, not on the mizbeach. There's nothing you can do about it. So you wait overnight. I'm not going to burn it right now because that's the yesod anyway. In order to burn something, you have to be mechabed the kachim. So you have to let it go bad, so to speak, and then you can burn it. I don't get it. Why should you do tu b'tzurason? They should say, put it on the mizbeach, and say that the chatas is wood. Says Gemara. If it's in one item, chatas, we do say, you should be chayta, so that somebody else can benefit. We don't say it in 2 different things. But if it's one thing, we do say it. Oh, you have the sheep of Shavuos. You didn't have the right intent. You thought that's not Shavuos. You thought that the sheep is Ayla. Or you shechted it before the time came, or after the time. This is tam. Like a lot of times people think that the hachana, you do hachana as you go to the mikveh first, you put in the gartel, the whole thing, and then okay, so I was a half hour late. No, half hour late, you're done. You're finished. You're out. You're out of the game. There's a certain time you have to do it, and that's it. After the zman is finished. So what do? You throw the blood with a loy l'shma thought that this blood is for a different carbon for the shlamim, and then you can eat the meat. Why can't you do zrik on Shabbos? What's the problem? Why can't you do zrik on Shabbos? What's the problem? Where's the isser to do zrik on Shabbos? Tikkun mana. That's what they're saying. There's different things, but one of them is tikkun mana. You're fixing something on Shabbos. Vim zarak. And if you didn't listen, you did zrika. Hurtza lahakti imurim le'erev. Hurtza, sorry, vimzar hurtza. Period. Lahakti imurim le'erev. It's a little funny the lashon here. So maybe it's like you get a kapara, but the imurim you have to bring on at night. V'mai Why can you do Zrika on Shabbos? She'll be over on Tikkun Mana, whatever the Isser is, and on Motzei Shabbos we'll be able to eat it. So today on Shabbos I'm going to do Averis. I could eat the Emurim. You could put the Emurim on the Mizbeach Motzei Shabbos. Says the Gemara, Shabbos. This is Shabbos Amrinon. If it's the same day, you could say such a thing. 2 different days. No, Lo Amrinon. Or and when there's 2 different things, you can't say, oh, do a chet on item A so that we could benefit from item B. Why don't we say that? So now, very small akdama. Here's a question that trips people up. Let's see if you guys know it, because the Israelis had a hard time with this. If I have a bottle of regular chulin wine, here, give me that one, Castel, right over there. Yeah. This bottle of wine, a sheretz touched it. Sheretz touched its tummy. Can I use this for Kiddush on Shabbos? You say yes. What's going on with you guys?
Touch the outside?
No, the inside. A dead mouse touched the inside. The wine. The wine is tummy. So how can I make Kiddush on this? Tummy. I'm a big Amoritz.
That's fine. As long as you're not knocking on tires, it's not a problem.
Correct. You're allowed to use this. Now, what if this was Truma? If this was Truma, this is easier. If this is Truma and it becomes Tomei, Sheretz touched it, what's the halacha? You can't do anything. If you're a kohen, you can't drink it. If you're Yisrael, you certainly can't drink it because it's Truma. So if it's Tomei, 0. This is nothing. Not only that, here, take this, thank you. There's a special pasuk that says, V'ani hinei nosati l'chos mishmeres trumoisa. You have a chiyuv da'iraisa to prevent truma from becoming tamei. So now that we know these things, check it out. It's a beautiful case. We have a massive vat. You have a few $100,000 on the bottom, and on top there's a barrel of truma wine. This is just a l'sabers oinaim. In the time of the Gemara, you had a vat, like a place where they would crush the grapes, and then it would go down. I showed the whole thing, but just this is geschmack over here. Yeah, you have a barrel of truma on the top, and the bottom is chulin tamei. In other words, a rat fell into this dead rat, so the whole thing is tamei. It's fine. They still sell it. It's not. They don't tell anybody what happened, and the truma is tahar. You have a chiyuv deraisa. As soon as there's a little leak, you have a chiyuv to run and grab the truma. There's another problem here. If the truma actually hits the chulin on the bottom, what's going to happen? Let's just say it's the right amount. It's the right, okay? We're not going to go that the barrel on top is much smaller and you need 100 is mevatel. Let's say there's no 100 to be mevatel. If the truma on top falls into the barrel on the bottom, what's going to happen? No one could drink from the bottom one. Why? Because it has truma in it. And the whole thing becomes truma. And it's truma tameya. So a kohen can't drink it because it's tamei. Yisrael certainly can't drink because it's truma. So now you have a $200,000 loss that could occur if the top thing drips into the bottom one. So now what do? You have a dilemma here. Here's the dilemma, Rabbi say. Check it out. Okay, this is an exaggeration that the truma, it's about to drip, okay? It didn't drip yet. If it dripped already, it would be a problem. It's mamish Yona Yomi, these sirens. First option. First option is to save the bottom, because it's a big loss. Option number 2 is take a plastic cup, or yeah, that was the hard. Maybe you should save as much as you can, 1 cup worth. That's your chiyuv. You have to be shomer it. It says in the Torah, you have to be shomer. Should you save? Yeah. No, but here's what's going to happen. The bottom is going to get ruined because no, but you can only save a little bit. You can only save 1 revi. It's 1 cup. It's one cup. You're going to save 1 cup worth, but at the end, your whole 1,000,000 gallons on the bottom are going to get ruined. But none. We're 4 lines from the bottom. You have truma on the top that's breaking, and the bottom one is chulun but it's tamei. And if the top one goes into the bottom one, you won't be able to use the bottom one. It'll create a great loss. Your chiyuv is to go save one cup worth, one little revius from the top one. Vimlav, tered betitma ba'itma biyad. You could let it go and ruin the bottom. Do not use a tamei vessel to catch the wine. You're allowed to go ahead and save the bottom by catching the wine from the top in a tamei kli. You're going to make the truma tamei with your own hand. Now, the problem is, it's two different items. Top one is truma, bottom one is chulin. So you tell a person to go ahead, be metama the truma in order to save your bottom thing. You're being metama the truma biyadayim. You're doing an avera. You're making truma tamei, so that you could save the bottom. It's two different items. In two different items, I say that. Says Gemara Shani Asam, the tumaka azla. It anyways is going to, if you don't do anything, it's going to drip into the bottom. I'm sorry, it's going to drip into the bottom, and the truma is going to become tamei. Whether you do it with your hand or you don't do it with your hand, whether you catch it in a kli, it becomes tamei when it touches the kli, or when it hits the chulin on the bottom, it's going to become tamei because the chulin on the bottom is tamei. So your truma is gone regardless. So you didn't cause any extra tuma here. It's going to become tamei anyway. If you shecht the sheep on Shavuos, shaloi l'shma, you think to yourself that it's shlamim, psulin. It's possible to do it. Let it stay overnight and burn it. Omer Rav Nachman, mar demakish luhu lechatos nami psulim, tari psulim. In the same pasuk, it says the lashon of chatos and kivsei atzeres. So we know, right? Most of us know. The first Mishnah in Zvachim, we quote all the time. There are two korbanos that if you have loy l'shma on it, they're gone, which are chatos and pesach. So if you're going to compare Shavuos to chatos, so if you have a shaloi l'shma situation, it's going to be like a chatos, and it's possible. That's what he's saying. Psulim. What do you mean psulim? Why possible? It's like every other carbon that you do shaloi l'shma, you could use it, you could eat it. You are mekayim the mitzvah. You have to you have to bring another carbon, but don't tell me that it's possible. Oh, explains Rav Nachman, it is possible because I'm comparing it with a hekesh to chatos. Shalmi Chayva, what's Shalmi Chayva, Rabbi Yisai? Kivsei Atzeres. Kivsei Atzeres, Shalmi Chayva. I'm comparing Shlomim to Shlomim. I'm going to compare the Chayva, the one of the Tzibur, the Kivsei Atzeres, to Nedava. And Memela, Ksherim, Tani Ksherim. Makes a lot of sense that if you do it Shalei Shema, it's kosher. You have a Shlom of a Nazir, you didn't do the Shema. Ksherim, here, Mefurish, kosher, V'lo Yolabam, Shem Chayva. It's like every other carbon that you don't do the Shema, besides the Chatas, it's good. You have to bring another one. You only eat it one day, one night. You don't bring, it's like a regular shlamim. We treat it like a regular shlamim. There's no bread, but in terms of, we did a shloi l'shma here, so you have to do, you don't bring the zraya, you don't do the meisvei, ask the Gemara, Asham ben shana, ve'evim shtayim, if you're mechuyev to bring a asham, let's say you're a nazir, so you have to bring a 1-year-old asham, but instead of bringing a 1-year-old, you brought a 2-year-old, or ben shtayim. Let's say you're Gazlan that swore falsely. So you're supposed to bring a 2-year-old and you brought a 1-year-old. Psulin, the two words of it is the way it says Reifa. I have an oilas nazir. The question is going to be from here. You have an oil of a nazir, an oilas iledes. Over here, these are oilas that have to be a 1-year-old. V'oilas mitzayra shoy b'nei shtei shanim ushchatan. If they're 2 years old, ksherim. So it's a kasher of Nachman. Over here you say kasher. Nachman would say puzzle in this case. Anything that's kosher, that's good by a nadava oila, is kosher by a chayva oila. And anything that's possible by a chad is possible by asham. Besides the shalei shema thing that by a chad is possible, and by Asham is kosher. Says Gemara, Haitana, Tana Levi. At the end of the day, don't ask me Kasher of Nachman. It's Levi. So Levi is the one that's Mechulga of Nachman. So don't ask me Kasher from Levi. Tashma. Another question of Nachman. That what Rav Nachman says that the carbon shvuas is similar to chatas. That if you do it shaloi lishma, it's possible. Tashma the Tani Levi. Asham Nazir, Asham Mitzor, Shachtam Shaloi Lishma. When does another Nazir bring a Asham? You guys remember? When he's Tameh. When a Nazir becomes Tameh, not at the end of his period, his Kufas Naziris, but when he becomes Tameh. Asham Nazir, Asham Mitzor, Shachtam Shaloi Lishma. Ksherim. Problem. It's kosher if you do Shaloi Lishma. A second ago we said, V'loyol b'ayim l'shum chayva. Shchatam mechuz is man b'bayim. If the owner wasn't, he didn't have his full 7 days of tahara, or was the wrong age, if it's true that you learn the chayva from an adava, you learn one shlamim from another, you learn shvuas, which is a chayv, from a shlamim that's an adava. So how come we don't learn Asham from Shlamim? Yeah, you should learn Asham from Shlamim. Just like a Shaman Edava, that if you brought the wrong year, it's kosher. So to the Asham should be kosher. Says Gemara, Shlamim Gamar, Asham Shlamim Gamar. I'm going to learn. He says you can learn an Edava from a Chayiv. You can learn one type of Shlamim from the other type of Shlamim. I didn't say you should learn the Asham from Shlamim. Vi Gamar Shlamim. Ask the Gemara. Okay, very good. One shlamim from another shlamim is good. So ligmar nami asham asham. So at least, so now why did I learn one asham from another asham? That what? Asham nazav asham mitzayra, masham gzelis asham me'ilois. That when you have asham that it has to be in the first year, and you brought a second year one, it's okay, and vice versa also. The same thing in reverse. Asham gzelis asham me'ilois. If it's supposed to be a first year one, and you brought a second year one, we learn from asham nazav asham zayra. That's okay. Something that wasn't done properly, like Sham and Nedavo, both of them were not done properly. This Asham Nazir that's a 2-year-old is something that was done Shloi Bechsher, and not from something that's Bechsher that from a Sham Gzelos, which is supposed to be 2 years old. How do I know the idea of something that goes outside of the Beis Hamikdash? If it goes on top of the Mizbeach, don't take it off. If somebody, in the time of a Bama, when you had a Mizbeach in your backyard, it's outside of the Beis Hamikdash, yet I could do it. Now, a Bama is l'chatchila, I'm allowed to go l'chatchila. So you see the concept, I'm learning from something that's l'chatchila to something that's not. It's very, very b'diavad. The piece of meat went outside of the Beis Hamikdash. You're not supposed to put it on the Mizbech, but I did anyway. That's a no-no. That's a bad thing. And where am I learning that it's okay? From a Bama that's 100% kosher to do it like that. Says Gemara, Tana, we had this terse a bunch of times. Tana, azois terse oila, riba somachle. No. We're not learning from the Bama. The Bama is just a nice mushal. There's actually a pasuk that tells me, im ola lo yered. The Bama is just like an asmachta. Rabbi Isai, have a wonderful psuris toy voice.
They confirm.
Kameni's dead.
Yeah.
Mazel tov. Why'd you tell me? My whole mood is different. Mazel tov.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDY.com.